if I fly up I can show you a little bit of it. So this is what it's looking like these days. It's got a hotel now over here on the left, which is has got its own special entrance, and in fact behind the hotel there's a bit of a swimming pool complex that's been opened just for the guests to pop in and enjoy. So there's that. There's a lot more rides and things that have opened up. If I'll give you a quick tour, we've got a racing coaster here. I think I've shown that one before though on the channel, so that's fair enough. Yeah, there's a Wizard of Oz ride, which is the big green thing in the background over there. So that's the that's the explanation for that. The Pirates ride, that's one of the oldest rides here. We've got the Innsmouth ride. These are just sort of show buildings which don't look all that attractive, to be honest. They're a bit disgusting, really, but they're all right from where the park visitors would view them. All sorts of dark rides here. We've got a western coaster here, a desert themed coaster, which is quite interesting, I suppose. But there is something to be built today, or something to finish building today, which I'm hopefully going to do live if it works out. I'll just have another quick look and see if anyone else has joined. Yeah, there's still somebody watching. So yeah, this is the Wizard of Oz ride. In fact, while we're waiting for people to join, shall I let us have a quick ride on it so you can see how it all looks inside? So it's all automatic. As you can see, it's got a capacity of 211 per hour, which isn't very good, but yeah, it's all automatic. You just switch it on and it starts running. As you can see, the first cart's gone inside now. Turn the volume up, you'll hear a bit of it. And the next cart should automatically be brought along. So if we just wait here, there it is. Now we jump on, and as soon as the track ahead is clear, we'll get dispatched into the ride. And yes, it should be good. Hello to whoever's joined. Feel free to pop into the chat if you want to. We're just going on the Wizard of Oz ride while we wait for people to join. So here we are, we're in Kansas. There's the Twister, of course, if you're familiar with the Wizard of Oz story. There we go. So there's a storm brewing here. And now we're going to go inside the house. And the storm's happened, blah, blah, blah. This is Munchkin Land. Oh, and there's the witch coming out of the ground as she does. And there's munchkins up at the windows, as you can see, that sort of appear. So yeah, this is Munchkin Land, and then we've got the scarecrow that appears over here. There we go, he just appears there. Then we've got the trees, of course, which throw apples down at you. There we go. So, yep, the trees chuck apples in the usual way. There we go. And then we're going through the woods to find the Tin Man. Oh, and there's the witch again up on top of the house. There's the Tin Man over there. It's a rusty Tin Man. And that's the lion. We just sort of glaze over that bit. Now we're in the witch's castle. And this is where the witch melts, as you can see. We've got some water spilling onto her there. And here we go into the Emerald City, where we go to see the Wizard of Oz. We're off to see the wizard now. There we go. The wizard grants your requests. And then, of course, you head off back down to Kansas, I suppose. There we go. There's the balloon. I think there is a balloon, isn't there, that you drop past. And there we have it. So that's the Wizard of Oz ride back at the start. And if I turn this off, the ride should shut itself down, basically automatically. Right, let's set this back to today. There we are. And I seem to have picked up some apples since I was on my travels through there, so I'll chuck those back over there. Okay, so it's this building here that's the importance today. It's the Storm Ride, or I should say the former Storm Ride. Basically, this was like a storm simulator experience where you would go through a city as it was ripped apart by a storm. And as you can see here, you've got the sort of facade here. It looks like a city. It really is just fakery. They're not real buildings or anything. It's just purely for visual pleasure and all that sort of thing. So yeah, the facade is still intact, but basically I didn't like the ride. I thought it was useless. I thought it was no good. So what I did was I've basically spent a couple of hours stripping out the insides of the ride, completely, ripping everything out. So for a time it was just a shell of a building, and I've drawn up some plans for a new ride that's going to go on inside here, and I'm going to carry on building a bit of it today. So we're going to go in through the exit, and actually the station I'm planning to keep. It's going to have a brand new track layout and everything, except the station itself is going to be kept basically the same, although it's going to be rethemed. So this is where you used to get on, and the ride would go in that way. But as I say, it's been completely stripped out. So if I take a potion of night vision, you can look around the old building. It is really quite a big building, considering what a small ride it was. So here we go. This is the building. This is all the empty part. You can see there's a little bit left. These are supposed to be roads, I think, from part of the city that was destroyed by the storm. But all the redstone and everything has been completely ripped out, and as you can see, some bats have moved in somehow. I tell you what, not all of the redstone has been ripped out. There's a few bits that are left, but yeah, for the most part, it's been stripped out. And over here, as you can see, I've started to build a new ride in its place. This is a space-themed ride. And I can show you basically how it starts. So this part here is the station. So you go through the station like this. In fact, if I take some milk, I could turn night vision back off again. So basically, you'll. Oh, hello. Who's that? Commander Rot. Thank you very much for the follow. That's very kind of you. That made me jump actually. So yeah, the first part is a nice slow descent into space. So as you come down here, you can see these are supposed to be stars in the sky. And then ahead of you, right now, is darkness. In fact, if I get a cart, I can make this work. Now, obviously, the ride will drive itself when it's finished, but right now you have to sort of push the cart along. So you'll descend like this into space, as it were, and in front of you, a rocket will appear. There's a countdown, and then it takes off into space, and its rockets go off. And then as soon as that's happened, before it even gets a chance to go dark, the cart will be dispatched, and you'll see these planets, which will light up as you approach them. There we go, like that. And actually, we've got some shooting stars going on the roof, as you can see. Wait for it. Or in fact, I might not have set that up yet. Yeah, perhaps I haven't set that up. That was the last thing I built. There are some shooting stars on the ceiling, but yeah, we'll sort that. So that's a nice slow climb, and then this comes into the next block section. So I need to work out why the shooting stars didn't work. So basically, the idea behind the shooting stars... oh, this is going to be difficult. So it's a white roof, that's important, so that when you see through, when these pistons open up, you can see through to the white, which makes the star effect. And these are supposed to, well, let's see. What it's supposed to do is this. If I pop the redstone torch on there, it does this. And it makes like a shooting star effect on the sky, but for some reason that didn't work. Need to work out why not. I wonder if it just fired too early. Let's try that. Let's put a bit of a delay on it and try again. And then I'm going to be building the next section of the ride, all being well. So, we'll go on from where the rocket was. I'll show you how the rocket worked if you like, but it's not all that interesting. So the planets light up. I need to have some milk, really. There you go, that's the shooting stars working. No, it only worked once, it looks like. Oh, that's strange. Right, oh, we need to disable this. This is how the slow-moving carts work, by the way. You get it to flicker like this, and they go nice and slow. So yeah, it's a dark ride. It's going to be a dark ride, hopefully. And yeah, the planets turn off as well once that's done. Right, so we need to find out why the shooting stars don't fire more than once. They're supposed to fire multiple times. It seems to only go once. Oh, that's the phone. Don't mind that. Yeah, that's really strange. Why does it only run once? Oh, what's happened? Something's gone wrong up here. How interesting. Well, for some reason we've got a steady signal coming up here. I know what's happened. Something's latched down here. It shouldn't have done. Ah, yes. Right. So, this is... that the shooting stars is tied into the same circuits as the planets, which light up. And they're just done with these redstone torches here. And the planets are actually latched on. There's a latch somewhere over here. So once they're on, they stay on. It's not just a pulse. The shooting stars are designed to work on a pulse and not a steady signal, which is why, when they're turned on, it just completely fills up this redstone circuit here. So all we need to do is convert it to a pulse, which I can do quite easily. There's one here, so I'll just take a comparator, bung it in there. We need just a short pulse, so you can change the length of the pulse. There we are. That should make it into a pulse, and that should drain this out now, hopefully. And then if we run through again, it should make the shooting stars work. Right, let's try it again. So we need to, in fact, we need to unlatch the planets first of all. Because the planets, as you can see, have got these bulbs in them. And there's just bits of glass to actually let the light out. This is part of the wall. If you look, it actually, when you're on the track, it looks like it is a full 3D planet, but it's just the front of one, really. So for some reason they're still lit. They shouldn't be. They should go out when I do this. That's it. Yeah, there we go. So they've all gone out. That's how they work. It's just a redstone tower. Okay, so that delay might have thrown things off kilter now, but we'll have a look. So go past the rocket again. Let's see. So the planets should light up. Yep, as we go past them. That one could have done with being a bit less of a delay. And then you've got the shooting stars which shoot past as you climb this hill. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright. And then actually this hill climb gets a bit dull, so we're thinking, well, I'm thinking I'll put something here for you to look at as you go by. And then basically the plans for the rest of the ride are, you're up high now, and so you're going to come across here and come into this room, which is going to be a separate room. We're going to build, or I'm going to build a wall just along here, as you can see, so it's a separate room. And you're going to descend down into this room, and above you, somewhere here, there's going to be 2 rocket ships, which are in a fight together. And using a similar sort of technology to the shooting stars, I'm going to have sort of like a laser beam shoot between the 2. And there's going to be a skeleton on board one of the ships and a human on board the other. And you're going to pass underneath this as that fight goes on. And then here there's going to be a giant planet. I think I'm going to make it a purple planet or something like that. I'll call it the planet Quack or something like that. And you go inside it, you'll go through a hole in the planet. And yeah, and then you'll turn right and go through this wall. This is also going to be a wall into a really big room. This is going to be quite a big room here. That's going to be the actual planet Quack, and the track is going to sort of snake through this room past all sorts of like goofy effects and things. I'm going to make some really huge aliens and make some sort of animatronic style stuff. And then you're going to come through another wall which is going to go along there, sort of along here. And this is going to be the room where the people of Planet Quack send you back to your own planet or whatever. So you're going to stop here, the cart will stop here, and then there'll be a countdown, or you'll hear some note blocks make a countdown at least. And all these flames will appear in front of you, and you'll be accelerated up a hill like this, back into space or whatever. And there's going to be a really thin sort of corridor along this wall here, which ultimately is going to bring you round here and then back into the station. This is where the ride will end. And that's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. It's going to sort of dip up and down along there. So, yep, that's that. But right now, I'm thinking I'm going to start work on that sort of spaceship fight that I was thinking of doing. And so for that, I'm going to start, I think, by building the track. So basically, this is a block section here. As you can see, the cart is stopped. And basically that cart is going to wait there for the next section to be clear, and then this little sort of effect sort of thing is going to happen in front of you. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to extend the track, and as I say, also I need to put some props in here so that as you climb this hill, there's actually something for riders to look at as they come along there. So let's extend the track out along here. And hello, by the way, to everyone who's joined. We're building a dark ride at the moment, or trying to. Right, so the track's going to come along there, and it's going to stop basically here, and it's going to come down a bit of a hill. So let's bring it forwards slightly, like that, and then the track's going to come down here, and the 2 spaceships are going to be fighting somewhere above you, so that you're looking up. And then once that's over and the lights go down, your focus will be focused, if you like, on the planet Quack, which is sort of where the most entertaining part of the ride should be. So if you just joined, these are planets that light up as you go past them. And we've got a rocket in here which sort of takes off. If you look behind here, you can see we've got a lamp which just lights it up, and then you've got this little contraption here which controls the thrusters, and these thrusters come down as the rider goes by. What's Aquanita Fan 55? This is really cool, Sam. I've always loved space, and you're doing a great job of recreating it. Yeah, it is with a rail system, but it's actually a theme park ride. If I take you outside again, I'll show you the rest of the theme park. So it's next to the Oz ride. This ride actually used to be a storm ride. I've stripped the building out, and we're building something different in there now. But yeah, this is the theme park. I have shown it before, but it's grown quite a lot recently. So yeah, there's all sorts of good stuff. I mean, you can pick any ride and they're all super realistic. So this, for example, is a Christmas ride, which is only open sort of September to December, I guess. And if you go inside, hang on, it's basically it's a guided tour of Santa's toy factory. So hang on, if I come inside here, it's a boat ride, by the way. You go through it on boats, and it's all like this. It's sort of Santa's toy factory. You've got all these. These are supposed to be elves and things. And yeah, it's a boat ride. What's this? Magic bedside lamps. Yeah, goodness knows what it's all about. But yeah, that's so that's basically the idea. It's a fully working theme park. All the rides work, and they're all sort of automated. But yeah, the space ride is the latest thing. It's replacing the storm ride, which I didn't like very much. It's a bit rubbish, to be honest. So I'm hoping the space ride is going to be a lot better. So anyway, where were we? I think what I'm going to have to do is level some of the track down. This circuit here is to do with the station, I think. Although, really, no, it doesn't have to stay, so this can go. We'll find another way to... Basically, that was a delay on the old ride. The station is exactly the same as it was on the old ride, the storm ride. Which is why it's all sort of urban decorated and there's sort of storm clouds in the sky and things. That's all going to be changed. But I'm going to keep the circuitry for the station because it seems to work. So I've got the not very nice job then of levelling off this ground. I'm going to sort of just bring it down to that level there. I could use TNT, but I've already built quite a lot of ride already, so unfortunately that would cause damage. So, and I don't use MC Edit or anything like that. I try and do everything by hand, just so that it's more realistic, I suppose. I enjoy doing stuff by hand. So we're just going to lower the floor in here so that we've got plenty to go at, because we want this descent here to be quite long where the track goes. And then we'll see. I've had trouble making theme parks. Oh, why is that? What trouble have you had with your theme parks? It's certainly difficult. I mean, if I show you the circuitry for the station, this is the station circuitry. So all this is just to make sure that the track ahead is clear, basically, before the next carts are dispatched. It won't work at the moment, unfortunately, because the track doesn't exist for the most part. But yeah, that was the little circuit that controlled the storm ride, and they're all basically the same as that. All of the cart-based rides are the same. It works very well. Let's see if I can get this sorted. Let's get this ground. I want it to be basically the same level as the other room here, although it doesn't matter too much. The storm ride wasn't very economical, let's say. It was a massive building, as you can see, and it only had a few small rooms in it. Most of the space was taken up with massive redstone contraptions, which made strikes of lightning bolt down towards the riders. And it actually made the buildings crumble as you went by them. I'd use gravel so that the gravel would fall away as the carts went by. And then basically there'd be a machine that pumps the gravel back up to the top. It's a bit complicated. It pumps the gravel. In fact, I can show you a different version of it. So it restores all the gravel back into place for the next cart coming, and then it all falls away again. There's another ride I've got. In fact, you'll like this. It's a volcano ride, which does pretty much the same sort of thing. So let me have some milk. So over here we've got, it's called Magma Falls. Yeah, redstone, it needs too much space. So here we've got Magma Falls. I might as well take, in fact, rather than having night vision, I'll just set the time to day. So it's a volcano-based ride. Basically, the story is somebody's trapped inside the volcano and you've gone on a mission to find him. So I'll tell you what, I will do the whole experience for you. Are you ready? So here's the entrance, Magma Falls. It's not open currently. In fact, I better open the ride. In fact, I'll do it later on. When the ride's open, there is a stream of lava which comes down this facade and makes it, you know, look pretty cool. And also there's lava which comes down the volcano. And when I turn the ride on, you'll see that work. So we've got the pre-show to start with, and there's a little cheat button here which starts it. So Magma Falls, the doors open, as you can see, and you go inside. It's quite dark inside here. And when we're ready, the doors will shut on their own. There we go. So, George Steele is trapped on Magma Falls. There he is, up there. There he is, he's popped up. As you can see, there's lava all around us, filling the room. And then you go into the queue. This is the rest of the queue area. Your mission will be to rescue Steel before the volcano erupts. Eruption is due any moment. Good luck. Right, so then you come into the ride section. This is where you get on the ride. The ride operator would live inside here, and they've got all these levers. So this button, I think, is what runs the pre-show. So that thing we've just seen, you press this button and all the doors will open and let more people in. And then you've got this, which basically just, this lever sends the ride into autopilot, and yeah, the cart has been dispatched. So we'll get on the next one. There we go, the next cart comes automatically, and the whole system is blocked. So you've got about, I think there are about 4 or 5 carts that run on this ride, and here we go. So this is the laboratory at the start. Stand by, you're waiting to go up the volcano. What we're waiting for is for the next cart to go up the roller coaster hill and down the other side, and as soon as it's done that, we'll be sent off on our way. There we go. So down a hill and up onto the lift hill. So if you imagine this as a roller coaster, this would be the lift hill. And as you can see, we've now got lava pouring down the volcano, as you can see, and that's all redstone operated as well. So when the ride's switched off, that disappears. So we're climbing up the volcano. Let me throw this potion away. Yep, climbing up the volcano to the top, and it's basically a roller coaster with a few dark ride elements. So here we go inside the volcano, and there's all flashing going on, and then off you go down the roller coaster, as you can see. Oh, it is lagging a little bit. I think that's because I'm trying to stream as well, and the sound's gone a bit strange. I can't hear the cart anymore. So here we go. So now we've got a section inside the volcano, as you can see. There's George, the guy we're looking to protect. And as you can see, there's gravel falling down. There's a gravel wall in front of us there, which disappears. And then the roller coaster carries on. And as you can see, there are other carts going around as we go. They're all sort of computer controlled. There we go. The roller coaster finishes. You come back up a sort of launched hill. And back to the station. There we are. And I will replace the cart with a cart that has a chest on it because they're heavier. So basically, the point of showing you that was to show you the gravel system. So here's what happens if I go back to that section where the gravel was. As you can see, the gravel here is pumped back in over time, and then we'll wait here, and you'll see the next cart come down this hill, and that the gravel wall will disappear. So that's what you're looking at, this gravel wall. As soon as it's finished, the cart comes through. Look, and the wall disappears in front of it. There you go. And then no sooner has that cart disappeared, the wall will start to be rebuilt for the next cart. And it does this in about 20 seconds or something crazy like that. So there we go, it's all building itself back up again. And then we'll wait for the next cart. And as soon as it, literally the second it's finished, look, wait for it. So it's finished now. As soon as it's finished, the next cart comes through. So it's quite difficult to get it all timed like that. Now if I leave this running and we'll go into the ride service building, I can show you how it works. So at the back there's this little wooden cabin, and this is actually where you access a lot of the rides in the area. So the Christmas ride, for example, this is the door that leads through to the elf accommodation, and on set there's this door, and you open the door and suddenly you're in the elf room, and it's dark in here at the moment because the ride's lights are automatically operated, so when a boat comes through this channel, all the lights come on. But yeah, this is where all the elves would live. As you can see, they've all got their houses. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So if we go now into the Magma Falls, there we are, we've got the Magma Falls volcano office. If we come down here, you can see this is the machine that pumps all of that gravel back up the hill. So if we wait for the wall to fall, the wall is actually above us here. That's where the wall is. There we go. It's all falling down underground. And you can see how it works. So these pistons push all that gravel back up to the top, basically. So if I come through this fence, you can see, so the gravel goes down here, it goes round here, round this corner, and then up, it goes up a lift, as you can see, right up there, keeps going up, it goes round the corner, round the back of us here, up there, and up through the floor, and there we are, it's happened again, look, and then the process happens again. So if I keep going up, and there's all sorts of ladders and things so you can access the inside of the ride. And this is just behind the wall. It comes through here, look, behind the set. And then through there, and you can just about see the piston there that's feeding it. But when you're on the ride, you can't see it. So here it comes, here comes the next cart. Oh, I'm on fire. And there we go, it empties it out. Yeah, the disappearing gravel concrete sand thing was basically the idea came about when I was building a theatre. I think I've shown this theatre before, but again, it's part of the theme park. Let me go and turn this ride off because it's making everything lag. And basically, I wanted a curtain to work on this theatre stage. In fact, I can show you it. Let's just wait for this ride to shut down because it'll go bad. So there's all the lava, look. And I've just shut the ride down, so when I flick that lever, all the lava stops. There we go. And soon all these carts will stop as well. As you can see, they all queue up behind the entrance. So now that I've turned the ride off, all the carts have come to a stop, as you can see. And it's a completely safe system. The carts could never crash. So there it goes up the hill. So anyway, so the idea for this theatre was the curtain will come down at the start of the show, which is a strange thing to say because normally curtains go up, but obviously because it's gravel and gravity and everything, the curtain has to come down. And then at the end of the show again, the curtain is rebuilt and it drops back down. So this is how it works. So if I come through here, this is the operator's place. So here you go, this is the auditorium. This is the smallest theatre I've got in Betaboo. This is a theme park situated in a bigger city. We've got a whole city here, so this is just a small theatre. But as you can see, here's the stage, and we've got actually concrete powder, but it works the same as gravel. You just use concrete powder because you get colours. So if I start the show, like this, start show, you'll see as soon as I do that, the curtain should disappear. It should drop down below the stage. It's quite a big one, this. There it goes. And then you've got these animated characters which do their thing. There's a whole show that it goes through. And then basically, while the show is running, and it does take a long time, so the show is quite long. It's longer than I'd like it to be, but it takes a long time for the gravel to recharge. So if we just wait here for a second, you'll see that something will happen. Come on. Should get some music. It's like a music. There we go. Can you hear it? And then some stuff will start happening on stage. You can see the lights are flashing there. So it's a bit boring, to be honest. It's just a dodgy show. These dragons' mouths will move in a second. If I have some milk. Yeah, some stuff should start to happen. As I say, it's all very slow because it has to take a long time for all the gravel or the concrete powder. There we go. So we've got the characters here which do their little dance. It's really just a bit of a daft show, to be honest. But if we go up into the mechanism room, you can see the gravel curtain being rebuilt while the show is taking place. So if I go back into the private room again, and go up above the stage, this is now above the stage, and this is where the curtain gets rebuilt. And as you can see, this is quite slow. If I take some night vision, because obviously this curtain is a lot bigger than the one that was in the volcano ride, so it takes longer. But what we'll see is it's going quite slow now, but suddenly it will kick up into a second gear and then it will go a lot faster, and I'll show you why in a minute. But all of a sudden it will suddenly pick up speed and suddenly start going real quick, and you'll see it as the second it's rebuilt, the second it's finished, the curtain will go down again at the end and it's restored. So let's see, any second now it should start really speeding up. Let's wait for it. And as I say, there's a massive staircase. As you can see, it's all coming up here, look. One piece at a time, every single piece. And it comes a really long way. Thank you very much, Shade Bennett for the follow, if I've said your name right. The phone's ringing again, sorry about that. Oh, I seem to have pulled out my microphone. Have I? No. Right, well the strange thing is, it seems to have stopped somehow, which has ruined my argument, because this thing's always worked before. Yeah, something's gone wrong with this. Well, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Something has gone very badly wrong with this. But anyway, if I go down here, you saw it working anyway. For some reason it stopped prematurely, so I'll have to look at this another time. But it's a long way down, as you can see. And this is the room where it all takes place. So as you can see, it's a massive drop. I don't know why, actually. Oh, well, there we go. It seems to have started again. It's really strange. I wonder if I can do it manually and fix the problem. Let's have a look. So this is the little sort of computery room. Oh, here's the problem. Right, so this is the second clock. Let me see if I can sort this out. So there's two clocks. There's a fast clock and a slow clock. This is the slow clock here, and the fast clock is the one that's supposed to speed it up. So if I make this clock start again, yep, and start it, it should start to work now. I think it's going too fast for this section, so it might be that we'll lose a few bits of gravel. But what we'll do is we'll kick all the gravel out of the system and we'll start again, and hopefully it will work. So as you can see, it's passing the gravel all the way up this massive hill. I'm really sorry that didn't work. It's worked so well all this time. Hi, TKK101. How are you doing? Right, is this working right? I'm going to have to go and manually shut it off once it's finished. So this is the fast mode anyway. This is where it goes super quick. Let's see if it's finished. It's going to have messed it up now because it would have brought the curtain back down again at the end. Right, so there we go. It's finished. So what I'm going to have to do, you'll have to bear with me on this because it's messed it up somewhat. Basically, the rest of the theatre will have assumed that the curtain has refilled, and it will have let the curtain come back down at the end, even though it wasn't completely refilled. So basically, we will have half a curtain. So what I'll need to do is cut this off. Let me get another gold block, put it over there. That's it, so that's stopped now. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to take away... Let's go back up again. I'm sorry about this. Bear with me. It should be quite interesting. I'm hoping this will have fixed it. So we'll take away this curtain. And what I'll do is I'll go back into the auditorium and fill it up from there. I'll tell you what, in the whole history of this theatre being here, it's worked flawlessly every time, except for the time I'm filming it. Because obviously the instinctive remark is that it's way too complicated and that it will never work, but it does. So have we got half a curtain? Yes, as you can see, it's only got half a curtain. So we'll fill this up manually, and then we'll try it again now that I've fixed the clock, and it should work, hopefully. I know, it's a crazy idea. It was bonkers to even attempt it, but yeah. Right, so the curtain's filled up. Hopefully it will work as it should, so let's start the show again. You've got control of the doors, by the way, so you've got the shut exit door, so if I press that door over there just shut, as you can see. We've got the open entrance doors. You can hear those open there. So there we go, they're the doors that enter the guests. Also, while the show's running, the lights go down. As you can see, hang on, if I drink some milk. You can see all the lights are off in the auditorium. Obviously, health and safety is a bit of a concern with that, so you have to make it so that you can turn the lights back on at any time. So here we have the emergency lights on. If I push that button, the auditorium lights should come back on, as you can see. So the auditorium's lit again. And here we go, the show is playing now, and if I take us back up to the above stage area, you should, hopefully, you should have the pumps working now. There we go. So unfortunately we've got to sit through while this pumps, but again, after a little while it should slowly speed up. It should speed itself up and go into the second gear as it was. So let's go back down and I'll show you what's happening. So the whole curtain has now been transferred underneath the stage. I'll take my night vision again. So here it is, and all of these pistons are pushing the curtain down. And it's this stage that has to be done slowly. So if these pistons went at double the speed, they would just destroy the concrete powder, and it would just ball up and disappear. So as soon as this area is cleared, you'll see that the little system down here detects that, and it all speeds up. So as you can see, it's pushing it all in and pumping it up slowly. It shouldn't take too much longer now, but as I say, it is a frightfully, annoyingly slow process, which is why the show has to be so long. Ideally, the show would be a lot shorter and more interesting, but I had to prolong it so that this stage was so that the curtain's ready, basically, for when the show ends. So we get in there, as you can see, it all works. And I tell you what, there was so much, so much complicated timing to get right. Try 4 + 4 + 4 + 4 ticks on that broken clock. I use it more than I should. Oh, there we go. As you can see, it's now sped up. So it's going at double speed now. Yeah, the thing is with this clock, I had to get the exact tuning right. So if I changed any of these settings, it would mess it up. I did a lot of experimentation, but basically what happens is if you leave the area, for some reason sometimes these redstone clocks will get completely filled up and they'll stop working. This clock here is actually smarter because it's turned off automatically. This piston here will come down and turn the clock off while it's not in use. So it will never happen with this clock, but this one is a much faster one, and for some reason I couldn't fit in the redstone, so I just have to hope that that one doesn't happen. Right, we have to go back up now because I think the curtain has finished refilling, and it sure has. So we missed it, unfortunately, but the curtain filled up here, and then it dropped through these pistons down onto the stage. So everybody cross your fingers. If we now go back to the auditorium, we should find that the curtain is now back. Let's see, and yes, there it is. So that was completely done with redstone, and there's no manual intervention at all. Except for the part where the clock went wrong, but yeah. Right, so anyway, shall we go back to the space ride and I'll see about trying to create this battle between two spaceships. And if you weren't here at the start, this is my Wizard of Oz ride, by the way, which is complete with its own set of Munchkin Land. Let's just go into Munchkin Land and show them briefly. There we go. So here's little Munchkin Land. And we've got this circle of fire, and there's actually the Wicked Witch hiding inside there, and there's a piston arrangement back there, which causes her to erupt out of the ground as the cart comes past and round here. So there, yeah, that was a little fun effect that I put together. Anyway, back to the space ride, and we'll see about making this spaceship battle. It's going to be a bit of a headache, I think, to make it work. I also want to use some TNT. To make the explosion, but it's important that the TNT doesn't destroy anything, otherwise yeah, that's it's not really the way it's supposed to work. And the rocket, in fact, if I show you the rocket again, because I bet most of you guys haven't seen this bit, so let me come down here. The rocket uses TNT, so if you watch carefully you will see a TNT explosion at the bottom of the rocket, but it's carefully done so that it doesn't destroy anything. So here we go, the rocket appears. There you go, so you got the TNT explosion, and then the rocket disappears, and you carry on, and there's the planets. Thank you Nico887700 for the follow, and this is what I was sorting out earlier. We've got the shooting stars, which are now fixed, and they are now working properly. So yeah, that's supposed to be a shooting star, and we're going to get a crash here because the blocking system isn't working yet, so we've got two carts come together like that. But that will never be able to happen once the ride's open. Right, blimey, there's a lot of bats infested us in here. Right, never mind. Let's get this started. So, yeah, I think we'll keep the ceiling at the same sort of height. So we want these rocket ships to have their battle right above where the track is going to come down. So we're going to have track all on this black stripe here. And so let's see where this is going to look. So it wants to sort of happen dead ahead of you when you're at the top of the hill. So it wants to be sort of across here, and then you're going to descend underneath these rockets as you go down the hill. So let's see if we can figure that out. Thank you, Aquitana. Is that right? Aquitania Fan55. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. So we'll put a bit of ceiling in just so that we know the maximum height. Obviously, the storm ride had quite a tall effect in here. There was we had like a rain machine, which rained down on the scene. So that was quite a tall thing. So we've actually got quite a bit of space above the ceiling here to play with, which I might or might not make use of. I'm not too sure. So we'll just put a bit of ceiling in here. Don't need too much. Just see if that's more or less the right idea. Hello, Nico. Nice of you to drop in. I didn't see you in the chat there. Right, so it can actually come a little bit closer. See if anyone's got any ideas, because when you come up this hill, it's a bit boring because there's nothing going on in front of you, obviously. It's just going to be a black... This wall is going to go all the way up to the ceiling, so it's not grey, obviously. So see if you can think of anything. It's got to be quite thin, obviously. There's, what, 3 blocks there? Or 2 blocks, 3 if you count the back wall. So if you can think of anything interesting to put there. I think I'm going to make some hoops for the track to go through, because that's always quite spacey, isn't it? But yeah, see if you can come up with anything, and if it's a good idea I might put it in there, but it's got to be quite small, so there's no room for redstone props or anything. It's got to be just a bit of scenic stuff going on. Right, so that basically explains where this is going to go. I've noticed that the track isn't really going down in the middle. Make glowstone stars. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have to be careful with glowstone though, because obviously when this is supposed to be pitch black, when all these planets go out, I want it to be pitch black like this, as you can see. So glowstone might spoil that slightly. If I turn the planets back on, they light up one by one, as you can see. So yeah, when these lights go off, I want it to be completely pitch black. Although, I might get away with glowstone being over here. But the way I did stars without glowstone, I did some stars back here. Basically, I did this. So you've got a room here with a completely white background, and it's all lit. As you can see, there's lights all over it from the backside. But when you come down this hill, you should just be able to see this weird sort of star effect, which I think is quite nice. It's not too bad. Because it's pitch black, that works. And then there's some more. If I show you these, we've got these concrete stars which are just held up with black concrete, and it looks like they're floating. If you make it dark, yeah, it just looks like they're floating, or at least it will when you whiz past on the minecart. So yeah, that's that. Let me turn off these planets again. As the cart comes over this sensor here, the planets will automatically turn themselves off, because obviously it's supposed to recycle. And we're going to have a cart coming through here basically every 20 seconds or something like that, so everything has to reset really quick. Hi Diamond Hackerity, hi to you too, thanks for dropping in. Right, so let's go about designing these ships then, these fighter ships. Now the amount of detail I can put on them is going to be really minimal, because it's got to be pretty small. And I've also got to try and fit redstone lamps behind them, because when the skeleton ship gets destroyed, I want the lights to go out so that it effectively disappears. So what I think I will do is build this wall so that I know exactly where I've got to cut the thing off. So let's build this wall up real quick. I apologise for building walls on the stream. I know that's not going to be very impressive. In fact, I might as well I'll just build the bit of wall that I'm working near, and I'll build the rest of it in my own time when people aren't watching. So this is the planet room is finally getting its walls built, and of course we've got a lot of daylight coming in through this wall, which will eventually be filled in. This is the wire that controls the shooting stars, so I need to cover all that up later, but that's not a problem right now. Right, okay. So this wall comes up. Is this the Sam's Trains official page? No, well it's not. Well, I suppose it is official, yeah, but I don't really do train-related stuff on here. It's more video game sort of thing. I've not done any in ages, actually, but I thought I would do today. If anyone wants to see some of the other theme park rides, do let me know, and I can show you them. Some of them are quite interesting, some of them are a bit boring. There's just some sort of standard roller coasters, but the idea is that it's a super realistic theme park where all the rides work. And they all have safety systems and things that real theme park rides have. Except it's all in Minecraft. So that's the fun part. Right, is that track more or less in the middle now? It looks better, doesn't it? Right, so let's think about this, the colour of these ships. So I think we'll have... it can't be black, obviously, because black on black won't work. And I quite like concrete for the space stuff. So I think we'll have a red ship. I think a red one will look good. For the enemy ship. So let's see what kind of red materials we've got. So there's wool, that might be good. I might be having some fire effects though, so if I put fire near the wool it might cause a fire, which I don't want. In the old days before black concrete came around, you had to build the black walls out of black wool, which means you had to be very careful about using fire effects, otherwise it would cause explosions. Red terracotta's okay, and red nether bricks. I wonder what they look like. Oh, they look quite nice, except it's a shame they're bricks, because you don't really get spaceships made of bricks. Red concrete powder will fall, so that's no good. Right, so we'll have to use these three. Right, let's think. So, have we got any slabs that are red? Okay, so I reckon we could make the hull of this ship out of quartz, perhaps. We'll try that. Right, so we'll make it sort of there. So that can be the hull. like that. Want a bit of, what should we have in there? Terracotta, I reckon, yeah. Keep this coming down. So that's the maximum height right there. And then I think we'll have the rest of it just made out of red concrete or something like that. Oh, it might have to be sort of longer like that. So there we go, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. It's going to want a window on it, so let's do that. We'll use the terracotta for that. How does that look? Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll use a pane. We want to make this look as evil as possible, so there we go. Will red pane look alright? Yes, I think so. And we'll make the interior of the ship white, just so that you can see it. So let's use some white concrete. White concrete, there it is. And of course there's not going to be much in terms of interior, but what I will do is have a lamp here, and this lamp should actually be bright enough to light the whole thing, so we'll power that lamp at some point. And then I want my skeleton head just to be visible inside here, so let's have a look. We got a skeleton head. I think we might have to put skull if we want skeleton. Yeah. Oh, we could have a black one, but I think you'll see white better. Or will you? I reckon if we've got a white background, the black skull might be better. It might look more alien-like. It's a bit smaller than I was expecting. But we'll see what that looks like. So if I build the back up there, and just temporarily we'll turn this light on. Let's see what it looks like. I want this light to be controlled with redstone, so that it goes off once the ship's been blown up. But just for now, we'll have a look. Let's get some milk. Milk counteracts the night vision. So there we go. So how's that going to look? The track is here. Oh, you won't really get much of a view of the skeleton. Oh well, never mind. Not a lot I could do. I suppose I could bring him forwards slightly. That might not. I could actually do sort of like an outside window like that. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad from a distance. What do you reckon? At least then you can see that there's somebody on board. Although you will be coming along here. You'll come along here, but you might be going quite fast. So there we go. There's that. Right. First colour I see in the chat. We need a decision for the colour of the good guy's ship. What colour shall that be? First colour I see is the one I'll pick. I don't know why I set the time to 0. I need to get some night vision. And then I also need a colour for the laser that's going to shoot between the two. Gold. Right, so we had two. We had Tom C. Adams says gold. Aquitina fan says light blue. So they're the colours. We'll use gold and light blue. Right, so the block of gold has to be the choice there. Let's have a look at what we've got. There's blue. Light blue wool. I'd rather use concrete actually, or terracotta. So yeah, that looks quite good. And then we could probably actually stick with the slabs as well. There we are. So it's going to look quite kid-friendly, is this, I reckon. We've got some kiddie colours going on, which is quite nice. So we're going to build this up right on the opposite wall. So let's build a mirror image of this. Right. So we'll basically have that like that. We'll put the gold here. Thank you for your suggestions, by the way. What colour shall we have for the windows? What do you think about that? Yeah, that's right. What was in there? More gold. Is that right? It looks longer to me somehow. No, it's not though. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then of course we'll have Steve's head in there, which will look more human. That's the hope. There we are. Right, so folks, what colour do you reckon we should go with for the windows? Something you can either go with like a yellow window to match the gold, or we could perhaps contrast it somehow with a different colour. If anybody's got any ideas, let me know. For the time being, I'll go around the back and we'll put a back piece on. Welcome everybody, by the way, to people who have just turned up. We are building a dark ride themed around space. Right, we need a lamp in there. just for people who have turned up, I'll show you what we've got so far. If I take some milk, we can go on and I'll show you. So it's supposed to be a realistic attraction, so it's going to have high capacity, lots of carts going through it. So let's go from the top. So this is where you enter the ride. You go through these stars. These are supposed to look like stars, if you will. Then you come forwards here, and the rocket appears in front of you, and it takes off, and then you'll carry on like this. Past a planetarium, all these planets will light up as you go by them. There's a yellow one there. You've got shooting stars above you going on there. We're hoping to have some sort of display going on in front of you here so that this climb isn't too slow and boring. And as you can see, I've managed to get a way to make the carts come up here nice and slowly. And then you come up here to a block section, and the track hasn't been laid for this section, so we'll have to walk this bit. You'll come along this track here, and you'll come into a room where there's these two rocket ships having a fight. One of them is going to get shot down, and I think I've got a way to make that work. But that's what it's going to look like once both the lamps have lit. It'll look like this. Right, let's, okay, so Tom, yes, Tom C. Adams wants to have green windows, so let's see what we've got. In fact, let's put paint in. So we've got green or lime. Let's try both and see which one looks the best. I like the look of that. That looks good, but let's just try the other one just in case. Ooh, what do you reckon? I think the lime was a better contrast, because that looks a bit sickly, doesn't it? Yeah. I think you got that right. So yeah, it was a good idea. Well done. Well done on the green. Right. So we need to decide on a colour for the laser. Yeah, I think lime looks best. Yes. Right. So we're going to have basically a laser shoot out from one of these ships, and well, it'll come out from this ship and go into this one. And I'm going to use a similar sort of technique to these shooting stars. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to take some thought. We're going to have a black line here, and now on the stream this actually looks a lot blacker than it's sort of more visible than you'd think. For me here, it doesn't look that noticeable at all, which is weird, but yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll have a line of pistons up here, like that. Oh, I tell you what, the ceiling's a bit lower than I was expecting, but no, that should be okay, I think. They have to be sticky pistons. Pop, 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 pop. There we go. And they're also going to have a black piece on them. Right, so when we power those pistons... Oops, if I can. I'm not putting the circuitry in right now, but we'll just get the effect working right first. Let's get some repeaters. Otherwise this ain't going to work. We just need to get them all down for now. There we go. So when those pistons push down, this black stays here, right? So you can't see through there at all. And what we'll do is we'll put black back here. Oh no, let's go around there and do it. We'll put black there and black there so that it's completely sealed in. And then we'll pick a laser colour. We need a colour that we haven't used already that is typically used as a laser. I would have thought red, but then red is going to mess with this. So let's have a look. I think, oh, what about a yellow laser? That's not a bad idea. It wants to be a colour that's very recognisable, very bright. Yeah, I think yellow's good. So what we'll then do is we'll make a sort of yellow room at the back, if you like, at the back of these pistons, which we can then light with lamps or torches or whatever. So make all this yellow. And then hopefully the effect will be... there we are, and then up here. Am I doing this right? Oh, hang on, that's going to be awkward because we've got the circuitry going on here. No, that should be alright, we can do that. Yep, so we'll put the yellow in there, and then I reckon just a couple of torches actually. If I could perhaps conceal torches back here. Hopefully, because we don't, obviously you don't want to see a torch while you're on the ride, because that will spoil the illusion a bit, but if we hide them back there, hopefully you won't see them. And then we'll make the back wall out of yellow as well. So hopefully while those pistons are up, all you'll see is yellow. And then this roof will carry on, so you won't be able to see the pistons or anything like that. How does that look? Yeah, it's not bad. But again, I think you can see some black in there, can't you? Need to fix that. Where's the black? Oh, that needs to be yellow. That needs to be yellow. I think that's it. I think the only other black was the piston, wasn't it? Oh no, there's more. Right, we're going to have to destroy the redstone that we've just put in. Yeah, that looks better. Let's just cover these up again. And if I take some milk, hopefully that will then look like there's a sort of yellow laser going between the two, which then has to be animated. Yeah, that ain't bad. That ain't too bad. Right, so now we have to get a sort of Mexican wave style effect. Right, let's think about how to do this. Night vision. So that it can look like the laser is actually travelling across these, across from one ship to the other, basically. Right, so it's starting at this end. So I'll just do this. Now, when you're using short pulses, which we are, it's no good just to adjust the repeaters like this to make the delay longer, because if you do that, the pulse gets longer. So we are going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and have a repeater for each one there, which is a bit of a nuisance. And then we get the, yep, we want redstone. I think we want redstone torches, and that should do it. And of course, by default, we need these pistons to be fired. Oh, this is a bit nasty, isn't it? But no, that should be okay. And then by default, these pistons need to be on, so we just put a thing there. There we go. So now the lasers have disappeared, or lasers in inverted commas. And just to show how it's going to look, we'll cover up the front of these pistons, so that's what you'll see. So imagine this ceiling will sort of carry on at the back. And then just to show what it's going to look like, I'll put in a clock here. I'm not really going to have a clock here. I'm going to actually have a little machine that controls it and gives us maybe 3 bursts of laser or something like that. But I'll make this clock work so that it just keeps going. Yep, so that goes round to there. Keep the clock going. And I'm going to make sure it's quite a long clock, so that so that you get the effect. You don't want it too much. You don't want it firing every second or whatever. Right. Oh, and I forgot a component here. I also need to clip the pulse so it's short. So I'll try and get the pulse as short as possible. So for that you need a comparator. Just bung that in there. And we also need this. Oh no, I've done that wrong. It needs to go a bit further out. Like that. And that means now that the pulse... In fact, let me show you. So I can make a pulse as long as I like on here now. So as you can see, this will cut that pulse short so that the pulse that gets through is very short. There you are. So that's not a very good example because I've made quite a short pulse anyway. But if I make a long pulse with this torch, like that, you can see it cuts it short. So look how long the pulse is at this side. It's really long. But this little thing here means that the pulse that actually gets through is really short, and that's what we need. And that should just let each piston come up just for a little second. And now let's have a look and see if these lasers actually work. I'm really hoping they do, because I thought quite a bit about how I was going to make these lasers work. What do you reckon? That looks alright, doesn't it? And with some sound effects, I think that would look a lot better. I'm actually really pleased with how that looks. Right. We'll just appreciate that for a second and think about what I'm going to do next. So, we need somehow... I think the lamp here on this guy will stay on all of the time. But once this guy's been shot at, I want his lamp to go out. So basically it will look like this. So yeah, he'll disappear, and obviously the lasers won't still be firing at that point. But I also want, as I mentioned earlier, I want a bit of a TNT explosion to happen. just behind that enemy ship, so that it looks as though it's blown up. And I'll show you my secret here. I'll show you how to make a completely safe redstone explosion. I'm sure some people might know actually how to do it better, but yeah, this is how I do it. So it's finding the space first of all, finding actually the room to do it. I think this should be enough right here. So obviously where TNT is concerned, you want obsidian. In fact, we might be able to do this without obsidian. Yes, I think we might. So basically, we'll make it like this. We'll make a dispenser. The dispenser is going to dispense the TNT, and always be cautious where TNT is concerned because it's nasty stuff. So there you go. We might as well put obsidian on here just to be safe. So basically we're going to have a little controlled explosion happen just here in this block. And you wait, I think you just use water, don't you? But if it all blows up, if it blows up my laser assembly, we'll know that it hasn't worked properly. So let's get a whole... this is almost certainly going to go wrong. Let's get a whole load of TNT here. Yeah, we need more. Oh, 64, that's fine. And then what we'll do is we can hook it up temporarily to this clock. And we'll see what that looks like. I didn't forget the water, did I? Just let me make sure. So if the water's not there, it's going to blow. It is actually going to blow the ship up. Right. I don't know why I've made this so long. So we'll just make a little redstone lead, which goes up to here. There we are. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put a repeater in just in case. There we are. And hopefully this will make a series of controlled explosions that don't destroy the whole place. If it does, I'll be annoyed. Right. There we are. So that's basically what it's going to look like. So if we take some milk. Yeah. Can you see that alright? Does it work? Yeah, I think that's basically what we want. So there's going to be 3 bursts of the laser. Pyong, pyong, pyong. I think we'll make them quite quick. 3 short bursts. There'll be sound effects, and then this TNT needs to be fused quite early, so that as soon as those 3 lasers fire, it blows up. And then of course we need a latch on the lamp, so that the lamp switches itself off again as soon as that happens. So there's quite a bit of synchronization here, so we need the lamp to turn off as soon as the TNT goes off. So let's think about how we can actually synchronize this. This clock can disappear now, because we don't want that anymore. In fact, I could have kept this pulse shortener, but that's alright. Okay, so let's build a latch for the lamp itself. And they're quite easy. In fact, I figured out, well, I reinvented the latch so that I can make them smaller. So, how do I do this? We need, yep, we've got repeaters. We need a comparator again. And all the latch is, let me show you, is this. That's all the latch is. So basically what you can do is you can send in a signal like that, and once that signal's gone in, the light will stay on, right? And then the computer will send in another signal to this part, pop, and turn it back off again. So that's all it is, just a comparator with a flick, so it's turned on like that, and a repeater on the other end, and basically it just makes a nice little latch. So let's think about this. So it needs to be triggered. The whole thing needs to be triggered by, well, we've got a sensor here. So I think we could go ahead and use this. That's handy because we've got this line coming up here. So that's going to be what starts it all. So let's bring it up here. We'll put a repeater on it just so that it doesn't get contaminated. And let's see what's the other side of this wall. Right. Right, so if we're really careful... In fact, no, I think we're going to have to go up a bit further before we do that. So let's keep going up. Is anybody counting? Once we get to 12, we'll need another repeater. I know you can make redstone towers for this, but it's actually it causes less lag to do it this way. If you've got loads of redstone towers firing all the time, it can make quite a bit of lag. So I'm not too worried about the ceiling because it's all being replaced with white like this, so that we can make more of those stars. So yeah, that should be okay. And what? Oh, blimey! Look at all the redstone, the mess I've made down there. So what I think we'll do is, oh no, not obsidian. We'll put the sound effects right over where the rider is going to be, so that they're loudest. So I'm going to do that on this bit of ceiling here. In fact, I will. I want to remove this upper ceiling so that I can get to it, alright, because the ceiling's quite low. So I'll do that. So I need to try, with note blocks, I've got to try and make a sort of pew 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 sound. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we'll have a look, see what different sounds we can make. And then it's just going to be a case of trying to synchronize it. I think 3, what do you reckon, 3 shots out of the cannon? And then it'll blow up, so it'll be pew pew pew, and then the TNT goes off. And then at that moment the player will descend down onto the planet Quack. And then from there on in it's all going to be sort of goofy props and aliens and cool stuff. It's going to start off tense and then it's going to become silly and kiddie. So, let's see. So let's take out this ceiling just so that there's plenty of space to work in. Again, I could blow up this ceiling if I wanted to with TNT, but I think it would make too much mess. It would destroy some of what I've already done. And I'm going to use another one of those flashing tracks so that the cart goes down the slope nice and slowly while this fight is happening. Because I think it's important to keep them moving. You don't want riders sat still while stuff's happening. That's going to happen with the rocket. Oh no, I deleted a piston. Damn. Oh, that's a pain. Right, let's put it back. Ah, it squashed me. I'm stuck now, I think. Am I stuck? Right, spectator. Honestly. Oh, I've spelt it wrong. There we are. Is that sorted now? Oh, we need the black block there, I reckon. There. Right, that was annoying. Got trapped inside the machine there, but never mind. Right, so we've got some space. No pun intended. Right, so this wall here, this hole I made in the wall can be sealed up, and we're coming in up here. Right, well, since the ceiling is going to be white, I might as well make this white. And yeah, let's extend this out. So this is what's going to trigger the whole series, the whole mechanism to start. Right. So what we'll do, it's going to be hard to get this compacted. I think making this compact is going to be the difficulty. How can I power this lamp without... Because there's going to be a lot of circuitry going around here. That doesn't work, does it? No. I wonder if that would work. Yeah, that works. Alright. So obviously I don't want this circuit to get massive because I've still got a lot of ride to build out here. So I don't want it to spread too far out, but I'm sure a little bit will be okay. Hi, Miss Adam. Is that right? Mice Adam? I don't know. But hi anyway, welcome. Hope you like the stream. We're building a space-themed dark ride. Or a theme park ride, if you like. Okay, so let's have a look then and see what sounds I can make with note blocks. Because we want this sound effect to be, yeah, synchronized really to the... synchronized to the laser. So, Minecraft note block. Let's put screen capture on, if I can. There we are. Note block. Yeah, okay, whatever. So here's what we're looking at. So we've got double bass, snare drum, clicks and sticks, bass drum, bell, flute, chime, guitar, xylophone. Oh, what's a pling? Oh, Diamond Hacker, YouTube, YT2. Thank you very much for following. That's very kind of you. Okay. So, what do you reckon, folks? Are you good at redstone? Well, I try to be. Hello, Diamond Hacker, Hackery2. Hi. Benjamin J. Baker. Hi. The sound was good. Oh, that wasn't the sound I made. That was the sound of somebody following me. on Twitch. So yeah, that was we have to still make the sound. Okay, well let's go back into Minecraft then and see about getting these sounds to work. So what am I going to do here? Well, first of all, I can't change the way this roof looks because it's going to be really obvious. So let's try. Shall we listen to what the bone sounds like? Because I really want to sort of pyong laser sound. So I think bone should be xylophone. So let's get the note block. Thank you, Mice Adam, for the follow. Much appreciated. Right, let's listen to these sounds then. It's no doubt we're going to have to make quite a few different note blocks to make this sound. Right, okay, so that's okay. What does wool sound like? Wool is a guitar. That might give us a bit of ding. Can you not hear? Can you hear this very well, by the way? It's not really what I had. Let's try a block of gold. Apparently that's a bell. Hey, I reckon this. I think this might be the way forward. Pyong. What do you reckon? I reckon if I can make a pyong with bells, and then maybe get another instrument. Yeah, get another instrument to make the same noise. So we'll put bells in. So let's go. Something like that, perhaps. So just for testing purposes, let's set up a little rig here, just so that we can control it with a button, and then we'll let the ride control it eventually. Yeah, that's all right. So we go through, have a repeater, repeater. Repeaters here. Let's see what that sounds like. Ooh, that sounded a bit too light and airy, didn't it? In fact, I better turn the game audio up, shouldn't I? So that you can hear it. Can't hear because of the mouse clicking. Alright, is this better? That should have been a bit louder. It's not bad. I think it needs a bit of something else. So let's figure out what other sound I could put on top of that to make it sound. We've got... Packed ice makes a chime sound. So let's hear what that sounds like. If I put these at the back here, we should still be able to operate them using the same thing. Let's hear that. Yeah, it needs to sound more aggressive, you're right. So let's have a look at some of these other instruments. Maybe the double... I can't bring myself to make a laser sound with a double bass. Can't imagine that would work. Right, I think perhaps a little bit of percussion would make this better. So we've got clicks and sticks with glass. Yeah, let's listen to that then. I can't remember what any of these sound like. Oh, that's just a bit naff, isn't it, that? There's a snare drum, which we can use sand. Let's see what that sounds like. That ain't bad, that ain't bad. Let's adjust these. I wonder if I can make the bells a slightly lower pitch. I'm trying to make this smaller, if you couldn't tell. Almost. So what else did I have? We will keep. I think we'll keep the packed ice because that worked. That's not bad. And then we'll add the snare drum as well. So if I can do this. If we stick more repeaters this side, we should just be able to fit the snare drum in, which is sand. I mean, this can easily be changed. Actually, we can change this if we don't like it. Oh, I don't know. That sounds a bit stupid now. Let's try. We've got a bass drum which you can use with stone. I mean, we can mix different sounds in with this. I mean, I think there's a limit to how much. Oh, that's a bit more bassy, yeah. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Miss Adam, how long have you been playing Minecraft? This world that we're in now was started in 2014. Actually, if I show you the size of it, you might be impressed by it. Let me fly up and show you the world. So it really is a city. This is the theme park. This is all theme park. But if I fly away from the theme park, we'll get to Betaboo, which is the name of the city. Try a redstone block. Yeah, I don't know what sound they make. We'll do that when we come back. I'll try that. So here we are. We've got a school over there. This is the city. That's a theatre. We've got the big school. There's mansions. There's housing estates. That's a museum just there. We've got a library. I'll show you the big library. The library's always quite a fun one to go into because it's so big inside. Look at that. So that's the Great Library. That's an old one that I built. I built that one in July 2014. That's the date. I always put the date on the different buildings and things. Another one of my favourites is, we've got the Christmas tree up already because we've been building some Christmas tree rides. We've got a TV studio here. One of my favourites is the cruise ship. I really do like the cruise ship. And it's a fully detailed cruise ship as well if you go inside. I mean, if we go up to one of the windows, you'll see what's inside. I don't know what that is. I think that's one of the lounges that you sit inside. This is the spa, I think, in there. There are swimming pools and things, but yeah, so it's quite a big cruise ship, as you can see. There's a shopping centre. This is a supermarket even. This is the supermarket. Hang on. So yeah, we've got different aisles full of different stuff. It's a themed supermarket, by the way. So you've got the freezers, and it's all sort of ice themed, as you can see. Frozen food here, and yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. There's even a little show. Look, so for when the adults are shopping, the kids could come over here, and you press this button, sing a song, and this thing jumps into life. All the lights flash and the music plays. And that'll stop itself in a second once it's run its course. So yeah, that's the supermarket. I won't give you the full tour because I could literally spend hours touring you around here. So we'll go back to the theme park. There's a zoo over there. This is the football stadium. This is where we had the Olympic Games. We actually hosted the Olympics here in some form. And for that we built an Olympics park. If you go up here, you get the Olympic Village. This is a castle, by the way. A medieval style castle. This is where we had all the guests for the Olympics. We built some hotels. You see you've got the Olympic rings there made out of glass, and this is where all the Olympics stay. And then basically you've got a road to the country. Where's the road? Yeah, this is the road which goes all the way out to the country. And you go through the country a bit, and eventually you come to this suspension bridge, right? So you get to the suspension bridge, and you might think, oh, that just leads to nowhere. And for a little while it did, but if we keep going, and if you go down onto it, you'll sort of get a sense of the size of this thing. This was all built by hand, by me in fact. Keep going, you'll eventually come to the newest part. I don't know, can you do that with the duration? Set time today. Anyway, you end up at this city. And this is the new city that I've started to build. It's not that large at the moment, but yeah, it's going to get larger. And again, all of these buildings are fully detailed and things. And there's a park here. Look at that, you can go and walk around the park. I do like doing these diners. So you've got an old American diner here, Derek's Diner it's called. And you go in and it's all fully detailed and everything. Yeah, so it's a bit like model railway hobby as well, isn't it? It's just you build your own world. It's just a bit easier on here. There's another theme park, by the way. This is This is called Theme Park Island. It's a much smaller theme park, but I've managed to cram quite a lot. And there's an underwater boat ride there, which happens all underwater. You can see where the track goes. All the rides work in there as well, but it's not as good as the main theme park. Right, let's go back and let's see if I can do that. Time set 0. Yeah, you can't do that with the duration. You can do that with the weather. I know you can do that. You can set the weather to clear and keep the duration. But so yeah, it's quite a big world. I mean, if I fly back a different way, you will see some other stuff. Go over the castle. This is the zoo. We've got a little zoo going on here. This is a church. Basically, this was a village. A village that just spawned. So I took the church and made it into a bigger church, although there are bigger churches. There's a garden centre down there, so if you want to go and buy some plants or whatever, you can go inside. And there are all these plants and things for sale, as you can tell. Yeah, lots of plants. Oops, I've gone the wrong way. This is the fish section. You can buy silverfish to have in a fish pond. But yeah, it's a garden centre done in the sort of yeah, the glass style. What else have we got here? This is the laundrette, where you really do wash your clothes. It's a proper laundrette that works. Shall I show you that? So this is like a full working washing machine. So if you get some armour, for example, so let's say I want to wash my leather tunic. You chuck it into the washing machine, and then you activate this one, so up. This one hasn't got anything in it, so we'll switch that one off. Begin. The lid will shut, it will fill up with water. There we go, it fills up with water. It gets its wash, and then after a minute or two's washing, the glass will open up again, and your clothes will come out, and you can take them. Here it comes. There we go, thank you. So there you go, you can wash your clothes, and you can put washing powder in there as well and make it all more realistic if you like. Do you play Fortnite? Yeah, I have played Fortnite on occasion, but not too much recently. This is the hospital, as you can see. It's got all the beds and things inside it, and it's got all of the real wards. In fact, it's even got a helipad on the top, look. But if you go inside, we've tried to be... me and my sister, that is, we've tried to put as much detail in as we can. So this is the upper ward, you've got the oncology here, staff room, and yes, you've got all the sort of oncology ward here with some sick beds and things. And I think this is where you... oh, you've got a tumour removal theatre there. Probably in bad taste, actually. But yeah, and then you've got the surgery here, emergency trauma, operating room, visiting room. That's not a very impressive room, but yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff. There is a big church. Oh, let's try and get out of here. There's a problem with the church. You might notice that the church here is all boarded up, as you can see. The windows here have all been boarded up, and that's because there's a serious issue with the roof leaking. In fact, if we go inside, it's all very dark. It's had to be abandoned temporarily. Because, as I say, there's a roof leak here, which needs to be fixed. But if I take some night vision so that you can actually see, you'll see what damage the water's done in the church. It was quite a nice church, but yeah, the water has ruined it for the time being. So as soon as we get the money together to repair the roof, we'll fix up the church, and then I guess people that believe in God can come back and carry on doing that. But yeah, need to fix the roof. That's on the list of things to do. So we'll shut that up for the time being. Shut the door, make sure no one goes in. You have to be careful because, of course, you get mould and things, and if people go in there, it's not good. This is quite cool. This is a theatre. This is one of many theatres we've got. Except this one doesn't look very large from the outside, as you can tell. It's quite a small looking theatre. But if you go inside, it's all Egyptian themed, as you can tell. Take some milk. It's a themed theatre, so you go inside here. It's called the King's Tomb. So you go down. It's all like the inside of a pyramid or something like that. You go down into the depths, and then suddenly you're in this giant auditorium. As you can see, the stage is all the way down there. If I fly down, you can see just how many seats there are. It holds quite a lot of people. We did try and sort of calculate how many people this auditorium would hold. And that's what it looks like on the stage. And we've got all these controls, so you can see the lights here. You see the lights that light the audience up. if you go back here into the control room, you can switch those off. So audience lights, for when the show starts, you can turn the audience lights off. And then as you can see, the audience are now in darkness. And yeah, the same thing goes with the stage lights, all of that. And there's actually a secret passage, if I show you this. There's a secret passage out back where you can jump on. Oh, in fact, there's a minecart there already. You jump on this minecart and go along this track. It's a little iron tunnel, as you can see. And when you come out the other end, you're actually at another theatre in Betaboo. It takes you to the other theatre, which isn't all that far away. In fact, we're there already. So what you can do is, you can have a performer on the stage of one theatre, and they can jump on that train, climb this short set of steps, run through the backstage here, and suddenly they're on stage in another theatre, and it will blow the minds of the audience. And you've got this system here. This is a trapdoor system, so that the performer can disappear through the stage. So yeah, this is the smaller theatre. It's just a small, I think it's one of the first buildings I ever built here, actually, which is why it all looks a bit rudimentary. But yeah. And there's loads of little Easter eggs, so I don't know, if you go for a journey off into the woods, in sort of in the east direction, for example, you'll eventually come to a haunted house or whatever. Or I don't know, I think if you go this way, you'll come to a giant tree. Let's see if we can find it. It's not far away. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So you've got this giant tree, look, which towers up into the sky. It's based on the faraway tree, of course, if you know that story. But yeah, there's all little buildings inside the tree, little houses. So here's, you've got somebody's washing, look, hanging up on the tree. And there's doors, and you go inside the tree, and there's all little houses for people to live in and things. So everything's detailed as far as we can, as far as I could. Anyway, let's go back to the theme park and see if we can't get this this sound effect fixed. Sam, what was your first model loco? Was it Hornby or Bachmann? It was Hornby. It was a Hornby. Let's see here. It was A1 Doncaster. There we go. From the Sheffield Pullman set. Hey, have you seen Mr. Monkey? I'll have to show you this. So this is part of the theme park. We're back in the theme park here. We've got Mr. Monkey here, as you can see, this giant monkey, and it's interactive. So there's a control panel down here which lets you feed Mr. Monkey. So here we go. You press this, and he comes to life. So he beats his chest. And watch this tree in the corner. There you go. Some bananas pop out. His eyes come up large, and then he does his ooh ooh ah ah. That's because he wants the bananas, you see. And then he beats his chest a little bit more, and the bananas disappear back into the tree. And there we go. Ooh ooh ooh. So it's got complete with sound effects and everything, which is quite interesting. I daren't show you the machine that controls it because it's absolutely gigantic. But you got 3 buttons, so that was feed Mr. Monkey. You can make him scream again. There you are, and his tongue works and everything. So yeah, that's that. It's quite a small thing, as you can see. It works in a really small area, and the trick is it's all underground. So yeah, there's Mushroom Forest. A little journey through the Mushroom Forest. We've got a big haunted castle here. That's an old ride. Right, let's go back inside here then. This is where we were working on the sound effect. What do you reckon then? So this is supposed to sound like a laser. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. It doesn't sound great, does it? Shall we try? You know what? It'll be okay. We can build the circuitry and then change the sound effect later on. So, we need to make... First of all, we need to get that sound effect synchronized to the actual laser itself, which is not great because obviously we've put the button at the wrong side here, but that's okay. So we can move that, we can put that there. Now I think that's going to be a problem. Is it? Yeah, unfortunately that is not going to work. Because this torch here is going to be interfering with it, which is a shame. That is a shame. Right, okay, I think we can fix this. If I put a torch here. Right, no, that invalidates that first piston, which we need. That will be the same problem again. Oh, no, it won't. That'll work. Will that work? Can we still turn that off all right? Yes, that works. Right, that's fair enough. So we can put the short pulse modulatory thing on here, so we need a comparator. We need another repeater. Put that in there. And again, this just keeps the pulse short going into the lasers, because it needs to be short. Yeah, so nice short pulse there. There we go. Put a repeater into there, just so that it's right. And then we just connect those together. Yeah. This. Oops. Nice. So now we just need to work on the timing. So if I put a button on, well, let's put a repeater there just so that the signal gets through. And I will put a button here. And now we can work on getting the laser movement synchronized to the sound. So as you can see, the sound just came a little too early, which is awkward actually, because we're going to have to, we haven't really got any space. Well, yes we have. Alright, let's see if that's fixed it. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's what we want. So that's synchronized. Oh yes, try a redstone block. Yes, I forgot about that. I wonder what that's going to sound like. It might just make the traditional... Yeah. Yeah, it's just making the piano sound, isn't it? Although that might not be a bad idea. I'll be willing to take suggestions on how to improve the sound effect. What's with that tiny block bouncing up and down over there? Look at that. Oh, it's a button. Okay. Confused me there. So that's synchronized anyway. So we can change the sounds later on, but for the time being, that's synchronized. So now we need to devise a system that gives us 3 short bursts of that laser, which is quite easy. We should just be able to make a loop. Let's get rid of more of this ceiling. Right, so... Right, where's it coming from? So this wire here is going to be redundant. We're going to make it come this way, I think. So we might want to put some delay on here because we need to wait until the cart is actually in place before the show starts. But that's alright, we can do that. So the signal will come down here. It's going to play it the first time. So put another repeater there. And then after a short delay, not very long, so let's make a delay, 1, 2, 3, let's try 3, what do you reckon? 3 ought to do it, didn't it? Put that back in there, repeater there, just so that things don't go into a complete loop. In fact, do we need a, yes we need a repeater there, and we also need a repeater here, so we can do the same delay circuit again, like this. 1, 2, yeah, round the corner, put the third one there. There we go. Now that should give us 3 short bursts when this cart comes over here. Right, so we got the laser working 3 times, but the sound only worked once, and I think I know why. So what we need to do is put a pulse shortener on this whole thing, because basically the if we look, it isn't getting time to turn it off, you see, so you just get the 1 note. So that's quite easy to fix. We can just put a shortener on here. If we've got space, I hope we do. Yeah, should be space. So the comparator goes there. This is going to be a bit tight, is this? Yeah, that should work. Right, now that should give us three pulses. Let's see. There we are. That was alright, wasn't it? Let's see what that looks like in the dark then. Milk, please. Try quartz block. Okay, yeah, we'll try quartz block. Let's just see this. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Right, let's listen to a quartz block. I guess smooth quartz is the way to go. Let's listen to this. I bet it'll be the same again. Oh, no. Bass drum. Is that a bass? It's getting higher. Hey. That sounds almost a bit lasery, doesn't it, that? What's the highest we can go? I quite like that. That sounds a bit sort of futuristic-y. Let's see. I reckon this one needs to be the same as well. I don't know if I dare go any higher. Do you think they will go much higher than that? I wasn't counting. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yes, thank you, Diamond Hackery 2. That's a very good suggestion there. Right, so we've got that basically working. I think it's going to take a little bit of a while for the cart to get into position, so I think we'll put a bit of a delay onto it. Which I might have actually scuppered. I might have scuppered my chances of putting a delay on there now. I might have to squeeze a few more repeaters in there somewhere. Yeah, that'd be quite easy to do, wouldn't it? Just put some here. Like that. Bang some repeaters on. In fact, I've not really made space for very many here, really, but yeah, that might be enough actually. That might be enough. Right, so now we need the TNT to be triggered, but only once. It only needs to be triggered once. And the perfect thing is, we've actually got a line here that I already built. So we just now need... Right, what's this here? Right, I've built my latch. That's the latch for the lamp. We're going to have to be really careful not to get in the way of that. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I think I can see that. So there's going to want to be some sort of delay here. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so the lamp needs to turn off at basically the same moment the TNT blows up, right? So first things first then, we need to rig the TNT to actually blow up. And for that, we're going to want some black concrete, just so that it is... Well, we don't even have to have a piece there. Just so that nobody sees it. Because when the dark ride is pitch black, when it's completely dark in there, no one's going to see any of this black. Or that's what I'm hoping anyway. Okay, so the TNT takes quite a while. It fuses, it's got a few seconds on the fuse, and then it goes off. So it should really need to be detonated pretty early. How's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, that'll make it. Right, so really after the boom, 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 we need to have it blow up. So let's see what the timing's like on that. Hey, that's basically it. I think it needs to come a little bit sooner, perhaps. I don't know how I'll make it sooner. Well, for one, could we get rid of that? We could probably get rid of one of these repeaters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So maybe we can get away with that. I've not actually counted that. I don't think that will work. We could try it. I think that's too far. Actually, it wasn't far off. Yeah, that was too far. It was too close. So we'll put that back to roughly where it was. Put another one here. I think actually I was quite pleased with that because there's quite a nice comic pause before it blows up. Okay, Diamond Hackery is suggesting the iron block, so let's just listen to what the iron block sounds like. Put a note block on top. Oh no, that's given us the piano again. That's alright though. I think I'm quite happy with the sound effect. If anybody wants to experiment on your own Minecraft world and see if you can come up with something better that will fit into that space, then yeah, sure, we'll give that a try. Oh, that's almost, yeah, it's almost rhythmic, isn't it, that? So that's really nice. And then what we need is for this latch to be unset. So what I think I'll do is we'll put this side of the latch on this side so that we can come round and disable it that way. So it's going to want quite a bit of a delay on it, so we're going to have to be quite clever with where we place these repeaters. Let's try it. And of course it can't interfere with the shooting star machine over here. Yeah, this is not going to be long enough. Oh yes it is. It might be. It might or might not be. We'll see. Right, what do you reckon? So the idea is that the light will go off with the TNT. So effectively the spaceship will disappear. Now the effect won't work great because we're not in darkness up here. It's not that dark. We also need the light to be on. So what we somehow need to do is once the cart has gone past, once it's gone, this needs to reset and this light needs to turn back on before the next cart comes into the scene. So that's alright, we can do that. That's not bad. That's not too much of a problem. It was just a fraction too early. The light went out too early. Right, let's bring the light back on. Oh dear, I went and shorted that circuit. It's alright, it's going to blow up again. We're alright. Okay. So, oh blimey, this is tight, isn't it? I think the only way to get around this is to move the latch. I reckon. Oh no, we can't move it that way. We could probably move it back a square. That might be all we need to do. Oh no, right. It needs to come up. Ah, no, I know what we can do. We can power it from this piece and send it up there. And then there's loads of space. And I think, will this latch it if we power it here? Yeah, that engages the latch. So that's quite good. It says you're playing Transport Fever and no title. Ah, yes, you're right. Shall I change that? Let's see if I can. Title. Minecraft with Sam's Trains. I haven't had time to think of a decent name there. Minecraft. Right. Hopefully that is better for you. Is that better? I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to Twitch, so I do apologise. Right. So we can add a couple of extra repeaters now, and that should fix it. We don't want too many more. Yeah, one more there. Let's see if that does it. So that should turn out. It's getting busy up here, isn't it? Blimey. Right. And then we need to put the track in and try and get it to work on track. So there's the lasers. Right, a little. It was close, but it was just a little late to turn off that time. So, what do we need? Oh, damn! Pressed the wrong thing there. I reckon that might do us. That might do us. Turn it back on. I think I'd rather have the cart turn it back on so that it's not actually switching back on before the cart's left, otherwise that would ruin the illusion. That's it. Bang. Right, so it works. And as soon as that's happened, there's going to be a signal sent to the cart. Or in fact, no, it'll probably just be timed so that it works properly. So, let's do that then. So we want a bit of redstone here. This actually works as an anti-rollback device, you see. So, look at this. This is, again, very simple but very effective. So if a cart enters from this direction, it triggers this detector rail, and then, oh, there it goes again. And then the redstone rail here will power it forwards. But if the cart enters from this direction, it doesn't go over the detector rail first, so the redstone rail just stops. So basically the carts can never roll back. So that should be enough to get it there, or so I hope. Let's find out. I haven't set up any of this circuit yet. I need to do that, because this is a block section here, so But yeah, we'll worry about that later. For now, I'll just need to power it. There you go. Oh, is it gonna actually tip over there? So I'm going to make a nice slow section of track which just brings you down slowly. But we just need to make sure the cart actually will make it. Oh yeah, very nicely, very nicely. Right, so let's put, I think we'll use this same detector rail here to start the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some night vision. And I'm going to make the whole room slope upwards with the track. So you won't notice that while you're on board, but it means that behind here we can put some redstone machinery. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to recreate one of my slow track sections, which is quite difficult to do and you don't see it very often, but I've actually developed a way to make the cart run slowly on the track. And if you didn't see it earlier, here is the demonstration. So the cart comes along here, there it goes, and it climbs nice and slowly up the hill, as you can see there, and there go the shooting stars in the background. So that's what we want to do, but we want to do the same thing but downhill, so that's fine. So there it goes, it climbs the hill, and because this thing causes quite a lot of lag, it's important that it switches itself off. So it's all completely automated. Oh, there we go, and it's going off on its own. There we are. Oh, I do like that. It's quite nice, that. It's quite a nice effect. I think you're better Redstone than Stampy. Oh, thank you very much. Bletshort asks 2 says, do you play on console? No, this is on PC right now. Right. So, I'm going to build using white concrete, because if you use black concrete, you just can't see a damn thing. So, where is the track? The track is under there. So, we want the redstone powering the track to go through here. Right, yeah, that seemed to work. Okay, so what we have here is a nice slow clock, a really small clock. You won't believe the size of this clock. It's literally one repeater there and one repeater there. Like that. And you can't turn this clock on and off with a comparator because the pulse is so short it won't work. So you have to use the piston, which is a bit old-fashioned, but it's the only way I can figure out to make this thing work. Okay, and we want this to turn on as quick as possible. So we make here a T-shape like this. And this is a very, very, very short pulse generator. The one I was using earlier won't work. This one is even shorter, and I didn't invent this one myself. Someone else came up with this one. But I think I'm the first person to actually use it properly in a circuit and make something really useful out of it, or at least to use it for this purpose. So if you want to make a bit of slow track, this is how you do it. So you want to compare it, no, you want a repeater there, torch here, torch there, a bit of redstone there, a bit there, and this is the activator here. So if I put in a signal here and then kill it, oh no, it didn't work, I haven't put this piece on. As soon as the signal dies, you get that, which transfers onto the track. Very easy. So in it goes. Oh, it's quite fast actually. So we're going to have to see how that works. And basically this can just go straight onto here. I will put a repeater on there. Now you're going to notice a problem here. The length of the pulse which is generated by this detector rail is quite long, and as you know, the short pulse that this generates only happens once the signal dies. So for example, if I cut this off, I can power this, right, and nothing comes out. Nothing comes out, not until I kill the signal. As soon as I kill it, then it comes out. So what you get is this: you get a delay. Where's the minecart gone? It's run away somewhere. I must have killed it. So yeah, what we might find out the hard way, is that when the cart arrives here, it won't be flashing in time, so you'll get a period where it's stopped. So we're going to have to try that and see. Come on. Nope, we're alright. So if that was the case, we'd need to, in fact, actually, it starts, if anything, a little bit too early, doesn't it? So what we're going to have to do is, I think, put some more repeaters in here, because otherwise the cart is going to have gone from the scene before the explosion happens, which we really don't want. Oh, and I want milk. Right. So let's try this. Let's go for the master take, shall we? See what this looks like. Right, turn that lamp back on. Let's start a cart over here at the rocket. In fact, let's go right from the start. Again, I haven't rigged this up so that it works automatically yet. I'm still having to push it forwards. I received a lot of redstone knowledge watching this stream. Oh, handy. That's good. Right, so here we go through space towards the rocket. The rocket takes off. Boom. Oh, here we go. We started automatically that time. The planets light up as we go by. We get the shooting stars, which work perfectly on cue. Still haven't got anything to look at as you go along here. Up we go. I reckon this should speed up sooner than it does, so we might have to change that. And then in you come to this section. Ah, that's interesting. So the problem we've got now is that the viewing angle for that laser thing is a little bit restrictive. So what we might have to do is make it so that you start at the top of the hill and that you don't start going down the hill until the explosion. So let's bring it up. So there we are, the pistons are up now. So you can see the laser there, but as soon as you go more than, say, 2 blocks down, it goes out of view. But not, I reckon, if I do it like that. If I take that line away, the downside is that we have now got yellow on view, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. Yeah, that's pretty noticeable. But it should have at least improved the viewing angle. Oops, hang on. We've got a problem. We've got a steady signal coming through this track. And the reason is because I didn't turn it off the first time, so it got activated twice. Right, let's try that again. Just have my milk first. Right, here we go. Yeah, that somewhat improved it, somewhat, but this really does have to be black then, this piece. Hopefully that won't spoil the look of it too much. Let's just run it again. Look at it from down here. Yeah, the viewing angle's a bit better on that now, and it should look even better actually from up top. Yeah, that does look alright, that does look fine. Okay, so it wants a little bit more of a delay, and I think actually the start of that little sequence needs to be a little bit less delayed. So let's take those repeaters out. In fact, we'll take this one out so that the signal still reaches. And then let's go from the top and try it again. It's a lot of testing, is this. And then I think next I'll put in a system that stops that fast clock. That's it. That's right. That's better. Okay. So I think it needs to last a little bit longer, maybe. Let's see how that is. Oops. That's a very dramatic way. Right, I better show you guys how to turn this thing off then. Because, as I say, you can't do it with comparators. That phone again, I'm sorry. Someone obviously wants to talk to me. But clearly they don't know that I'm streaming. Never mind. Right, so we put a detector rail at the bottom. And this detector rail can also reactivate the lamp at the top. So we'll do that. But first things first, it needs to activate a piston, which turns that clock off. And that's important because, as I say, that fast clock really makes a lot of lag. And because we've got a lot of these in the ride, they can't all run at the same time, otherwise the game slows down to 10 frames per second and it's not watchable. Right, so we put in a piston. Now we want a block of concrete there and a piston there, and this keeps coming up. I should be building in white really, otherwise it's gonna be a nightmare to look at. Nope, that's not gonna work. No, that's still not gonna work. Hang on, need to go up here. Up we go. So there. Right. So now what we should get is the cart should come down the slope nice and slowly, and as soon as it reaches the bottom, a signal will be sent back up to this clock to say, okay, the car's made it, we can switch the thing off again. So let's see if that works. Start at this block section. Down it goes. And it has not turned itself off. Ah, I see why. Try a repeater there. That should just make the signal get a bit further. Let's try turning it off again. There we are. So as you can see, that turned off immediately. So this time it should work. Down it goes. And switches itself off. Perfect. I do still feel that it could do with a little bit more delay on the whole system here, so let's get rid of this. A bit more delay before the cart starts moving down the hill, just to give you the maximum time watching it. Okay. And then the final part of the effect will be to switch the lamp back on once the cart's gone. Right, there you go. And I reckon also this piece can be replaced with regular redstone, so that as soon as that little sequence is finished, the cart moves on. So that's that. Now we need to find a way to get this signal to the lamp, to latch it, to switch it on. So it could go up the back of the scene here, perhaps, over all of this. I'll tell you what, let's start at the lamp. Will that work? Will that actually latch it? Oh dear. Put that there. Yeah, this is where all the different circuits start blending together and you've got to be really careful. Right, so if I put power in there, that will turn the lamp on, right? Yep, and as you can see it's latched, it stays on. Alright, well that's problem solved then. We can go right over here to there, come down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah, that's only just far enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it needs to connect somehow to this. How far are we? We want a repeater on there soon. The signal only lasts for 12 blocks, and then you want to have to put a repeater on, which boosts the signal again. If you didn't know that already, I suppose most people will know that. Okay, up the hill we go. Around here, and that takes us up onto the ceiling. I tell you what, this is going to want to be black, because we don't want white on the ceiling. It's got to be completely dark. I think we will also want a repeater there, and a bit of a delay just to make sure the cart's well and truly out of the way. Pardon me, before it starts to turn back on again. Right. So that's that. Yeah, let's take a little bit of night vision then. And then we'll have a quick look at the blocking, see if we can get this thing to work. Oh no, I've had the wrong thing now. Yeah, have a look at the blocking and see if I can't make the block sections work. I mean, the track isn't complete, so there's no point, really. But let's see. So there we go. Boom. Off you go. It turns that off, and the lamp has now turned back on.